Solving proportions. Malcolm's patient has a myocardial infarction, heart attack, due to blockages in the heart. After triple bypass surgery to remove the buildup, Malcolm will prescribe warfarin for the next 3 months to prevent clotting in the patient's heart. Using the following proportion, determine the amount of medication that Malcolm will need to prescribe. So here's our proportion. So when looking at this, we can determine what it's first kind of like asking us. So the first fraction tells us how much medication of warfarin is in each pill. So right here, this one, 5 milligrams is in one pill. The second one has missing information. We know that we need 90 pills to cover 3 months. However, we do not know the total amount of warfarin in it. So this missing number is represented by the variable x. Now that we know what it's asking us, we can solve. And so when solving a proportion, you can use cross multiplication. When cross multiplying, multiply the denominator of one fraction to the numerator of the other fraction. So therefore, what we would do was we would multiply the 90 times the 5. So we would go 90 times 5, and then we would multiply this one pill times x. So then we go 1x. And so these are equal to each other when we do cross multiplication, and then we would need to solve for x. But for this one, since there's a 1 in the front of the x, all we have to do is multiply this 90 times 5, which is equal to 450, which is milligrams, and this is equal to x. So here's our final solution, and we know it's milligrams because of right here, and we know we need to get this x is in terms of milligrams. So let's look at another example. Nathan is recovering from the onset of Kawasaki's disease, a disease that causes inflammation of all the blood vessels in the body. Nathan has been prescribed 160 milligrams of aspirin per day for 60 days. What is the total amount of aspirin that Nathan needs to purchase from the store if each pill is 80 milligrams? Use this proportion to find the answer. This is a more complicated scenario because there is an additional step. First, let's talk about what proportion means. Our first fraction is the amount of aspirin that's in each pill. The second fraction has the total amount of aspirin divided by the unknown number of pills. Cross multiply, we notice that we can do this multiplication at the top of this fraction first, so we have just one number. So 160 times 60 can be done on the calculator. So 160 times 60 is equal to 9,600. So now we can write that one number on the very top. So now we would have 80 milligrams over one pill is equal to 9,600 milligrams over x. So now we could cross multiply. So we'd multiply these together, and then we would multiply these together. So we would go 80 times x is equal to 9,600 times 1. So then we would divide by 80 on both sides, so we get x by itself. So x is equal to 9,600 divided by 80 to give us 120. And we'll need to label it so we know what exactly x is. So remember, before cross multiplying, simplify the equation so that the proportion only has one number in each of the numerators and denominators.